With prices being at an all-time high for both memory, graphics cards and everything computering, what can we do when we're looking at gaming on the cheap? Find out in a moment where we'll be testing a graphics card. Hello and welcome back to Nelly's Nerd Cave. Today we're diving into a detailed look into the NVIDIA GTX 1650 GPU, a graphics card that made its debut back in 2020. This particular GPU was equipped with 4GB of memory. While this amount of memory may not be very impressive at all by today's standards, 12 to 16 gigs, it could certainly be enough for modern gaming titles. So let's dive in and explore if this GPU can still hold its ground in 2026. This particular one is from Palette and is the Gaming Pro variant. The platform that I am going to be using for this particular graphics card is the AMD Ryzen 5 5600G. This is a Zen 3 architecture, but still a great place to start with gaming. As you'll see, it runs at 3.9 GHz with 6 cores and 12 threads. We have 16 GB of Corsair Vengeance DDR4 running at 3200 MHz at CL16. The motherboard is an MSI B550 Gaming Plus, a very simple board with all that you'd need to be able to run games on it. It has NVMe slots, and so it can run these at Gen 3, so we've got Gen 3 drives. Speaking of NVMe, I'm using a Micron M.2 with 512 GB of memory on there, and the games drive is a separate external SATA drive by Crucial, and this is 2 TB. So let's talk about Fortnite. I've got the settings on Fortnite to low graphics preset, set with a resolution of 1080p. This game is quite playable. There is no upscaling added to this, where upscaling would give you that extra FPS boost. The experience is essential for this particular game, and the gameplay on this is rather good. The PC version, set to low graphics settings, play quite well. It delivers decent performance though when you're looking at budget era, because this is a reasonable price. These going about £80 online on the used market. It can support 3D rendering tasks, but it might take a lot longer to process those tasks sometimes compared to the more powerful GPUs like the RTX 4090. Overall, this is great choice for anyone wanting budget cards, get into the world of PC but don't expect to play demanding games like Starfield. In Fortnite, we see an average frame rate of 115 FPS, which isn't bad for an old GPU from 2020. And I think really, if you want to play things like Fortnite quite well, this is the card for you, especially if you're struggling to purchase one of these really high-priced computers that weren't very high-priced in 2025. Next up, we have Cyberpunk 2077. This again is at native 1080p on low graphics preset, and the GTX 1650 is still a half-decent option in 2026. It's important to remember that it may not be able to handle future games within 2026. It may struggle with other things like ray trace games, but it's not a bad GPU depending on the game you're wanting to run. Always check the system requirements on games before you buy in terms of future upgrades. You could always go with an RX 9060 XT, which does very basic ray tracing, but again that comes in at around about £400 to £500. But it is a significant upgrade compared to this one. Some other things do offer better performance and are more future-proof in the long term. Overall, this is still a great choice for people who are on a budget. While it may not be the most powerful GPU on the market, it can still deliver performance in some modern games. In this test, the average for Cyberpunk through its benchmarking tool is 60 frames per second. So this game has kind of a thumbs up from me. I would always use the low settings with this. It does kind of work. It can be a little bit stuttery, but if you just want something basic and save your money to be able to get something a bit more impressive later on, then this is a good starting point. The final game I'm looking at is Marvel Rivals, which is a game that has risen in popularity during 2025. I have it set to, again, 1080p native resolution and on the balanced preset on low settings. With this GPU and this game, we're hitting a nice 56 frames per second through the built-in benchmark tool, which is supposed to simulate real gameplay. I'm not kind of convinced at this. It's obviously not 60, but it's close, and I think some tweaking to the settings may get you as pretty close to that golden number of 60. But this GPU can still game in 2026 and is a decent option for 1080p, while this GTX 1650 may struggle to keep up with newer game titles. It remains a reliable option for many games at this stage. So whether you're looking for a cheap GPU to game on and play some of the more popular games, as it definitely won't play any of the games that are dependent on ray tracing, such as Doom the Dark Ages, but for more of the popular titles out there, then this particular GTX 1650 is a great choice if you're on a budget. So if you want to save money and spend it where it's needed, then this card will hold its own for some of the more popular games out there. Don't get me wrong, if you can get a better alternative, get one, but to start with, this is quite excellent for the value, about £80. With that, that's that done. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more tech stuff. Let me know if in the comments section below if you're still using the NVIDIA GTX 1650 and how it's holding up for you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. See you later.